First and foremost, all thanks and praises unto our power, Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Wabrakakwadash. Peace, blessings, much respect to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, on down to the rest of the elders who rule well within Israel. Salutations to the hopeful elect throughout the four corners of this whole entire earth, no matter where, whom they may be, or what they may look like, pushing out this purified truth. To the rest of the church who believe as well, you men who may not be teachers or prophets, you women, sons and daughters also. The water to Yahweh Shai, because without him enduring and going to that cross for the nation of Israel and the nation of Israel alone, none of this would even be possible whatsoever. Let's go to James chapter 4 and verse 13. Go to now, ye that say, today or tomorrow, we will go into such a city and continue there a year and buy and sell and get gain. This is the mentality of a lot of people today. They plan ahead. But how do you know if you're promised tomorrow? The thing about our people, they really feel like they can put this truth on the back burner, which ultimately they feel like they can put the Heavenly Father on the back burner and get to him when they feel like getting to him, not even knowing you could die next week. You could die tomorrow. You could die this day. You could die a year from now. But our people will make all these plans, not even understanding you don't know when you are going to be cut off. We don't know these things. That's why we should live every day trying to live righteous according to what the Most High says is righteous and not what man says. Go to now, ye that say, today or tomorrow, we will go into such a city and continue there a year and buy and sell and get gain. A lot of people love planning ahead, making plans, not even understanding they may not even be alive to even do these things that they're claiming to do later on. Verse 14, whereas ye know not what shall be on the morrow. For what is your life? It is even a vapor that appeareth for a little time and then vanisheth away. So we're only here for a moment. So for a lot of Israelites to feel like, well, I could just build here, maybe 5 years from now, blah, 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 blah. And then you end up not even being alive to even make your plans come to fruition. The Lord will take you back to the spirit world. I remember some time back, the group known as Bone Thugs and Harmony, they would keep saying things like, okay, in year 2024, we're going to come back basically collectively with all 5 members. Well, guess what? It's 2024. They ain't did such a thing. They made plans that didn't even come to pass, let alone to make plans so far in the future, not even knowing if you're going to be alive to even make that happen. It is a very proud statement to say, yeah, man, a few years from now, I could see myself doing such and such, and we don't know. We got to live on the moment right now. Right now, what are we doing? When we do these videos, when we go out on the highways and teach, what we did that day, once the next day comes, it's almost as if whatever we did before doesn't even matter, because now it's about that moment. And it's not about looking off in the future and saying, hey, man, 5 years from now, I plan on having such and such amount saved up. By that point, I'll have this amount of food and I'll have this over here. I plan on this going on over here, not even knowing 5 years from now isn't going to happen. The Lord can plan on taking your spirit a week from the moment you said that. So for you Israelites who put off from day to day this ministry, who really feel like what me and my brethren are doing is vain, it's not important. You base us or you judge us off of worldly standards and not off the sincerity of the integrity of your minds, because a lot of our people don't have integrity. A lot of our people are just ill. A lot of our people are just wicked. Think about this. So even with the 144,000, there's about 8 billion people on earth, right? So just looking at the 144,000 alone, that's less than 1% of the earth's population. Most people, they just don't understand the mind of the Lord. They just don't get it. People really feel like they have all the time in the world to figure it out. You have women can be some of the biggest harlots and whores and think, okay, well, after this X amount of time, then I'll plan on slowing down, not even knowing, woman, you're not going to make it to that point. The Lord is going to cut you out of the earth before you even make it to that point. That's why we have to live for right now. We have to do what's right in the moment at all times and not focus on, well, yeah, I'll get to this next week. I plan on doing that next week. Okay. We're not going to be perfect. We're not going to hit every bullseye, but putting the Lord off, being in that procrastinating spirit, thinking, yeah, I've seen them Israelites. I've heard about it for a while now. I ain't looked into it yet, but I plan on getting to it when I can, not even knowing you're not going to make it to that point. You don't know. We don't know how our end is going to be. All right. Verse 15, for that ye ought to say, if the Lord will, we shall live and do this and do that. So everything that we do is Lord's will. It's Lord's will that we're able to be in this ministry. It's Lord's will that we wake up out of our sleep to see another day. It's Lord's will that when we walk up out of our house, we make it back home, okay, safe. All of our members still attached. Our sanity still with us. All of these things are Lord's will. But a lot of Israelites, they just love putting the Lord off like the Lord is just some hobby. Okay? You get to him when you want to get to him. Verse 16, but now ye rejoice in your boastings, making plans of the future, putting the Lord off. All right? All such rejoicing is evil. Therefore, to him that knoweth to do good and doeth it not, to him it is sin. You Israelites who keep putting the Lord off, you are in trouble because you know to do good and you're not doing it. Not even knowing how long your lifespan will be. People don't understand that when you're around 35, especially for an Israelite, you are already at a midlife point. And that's if you even live that long. That would be a so-called full life to be 70 years old now, which is a very short life. So to even make it to 70, that's not even our will, how long we live. Okay, plus we're in the time of the end. We're not even looking forward to even being in America that much longer. But the point being, even if you felt like, well, America's not going to be destroyed this year, that doesn't mean you're not going to be destroyed this year for putting off the Lord, from insulting the men who are doing this. All right. You're held accountable once you know this truth and you're not doing good, but you know to do it. John 15:22. If I had not come and spoken unto them, they had not had sin, but now they have no cloak for their sin. So once you hear this truth, you know to do good. So if you know to do good and you don't do good, well, guess what? That's sin unto you. Let's go back to James 4:17. James and John were brothers, by the way. James was the older brother of John. Verse 17, therefore to him that knoweth to do good and doeth it not, to him it is sin. So if you know to do good and you're just sitting on it, to you it is sin. Because in your mind, you feel like you have time. You have all the time in the world. You can act like a woman who can live some of her best years as a whore, then decide to want to slow down as her, beauty starts to diminish. Proverbs 27:1. Boast not thyself of tomorrow, for thou knowest not what a day may bring forth. So people will make plans of the future. People will boast of being able to say, you know what, I hear what you're saying, but I'm going to get to that when I can. See, right now I'm trying to do this and do that. I'm trying to build this business up. But yeah, when I get the time and, things slow down for me, I really do want to, get close to the Lord. The Lord ain't dealing like that. Because if you're boasting yourself of tomorrow, making plans, and you have no clue when the Lord's even going to remove you out of the earth, that's pride. And we don't have time to be taking chances, assuming that we have all the time in the world. Here it is. It's been going on a whole week. You haven't thrown up any videos. But in your mind, I'll do it tomorrow. What's a week in one day? You come across these videos. You may not click on the video. You scroll right past it, but in your mind, you'll say, okay, I'm going to watch that later on. I need to get to that. I know I need to get to that when I can. But you'll end up clicking on the video under it, and it might be something talking about Diddy and Meek Mills. You'll click right over a brother's video because the view count's low, but you'll click on the video next to it, which is a whole bunch of folly. Because in your mind, you got all the time in the world. Okay? Boast not thyself of tomorrow, for thou knowest not what a day may bring forth. Let's go to the book of Sirach, also known as the book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 5 and verse 7. Oh, that's the spirit. It's already highlighted. Make no tarrying to turn to the Lord, and put not off from day to day. For suddenly shall the wrath of the Lord come forth, and in thy security thou shalt be destroyed, and perish in the day of vengeance. So tarrying to turn to the Lord, putting off the Lord from day to day, not even understanding life is limited here. None of us know when the Lord is going to call us back, so to speak. None of us know these things. So to really feel in your mind like you can just keep playing games with your life, keep playing games with the limited amount of time that you have here, thinking life is all about partying and just having fun all the time. Life is all about doing it your way, which is the doctrine of a man named Aleister Crowley, by the way. If you don't know who he is, just look the man up. Make no tarrying to turn to the Lord, and put not off from day to day. For suddenly shall the wrath of the Lord come forth, and in thy security thou shalt be destroyed, and perish in the day of vengeance. So you don't know when the Lord will require your spirit and cause you to perish. And I'm speaking to you Israelites who are playing games with the word. You're literally pretending like you have all this time. You're literally pretending like America is just going to be here. Okay? Let's go forward, man. Let's go to Jeremiah chapter 8 and verse 3. And death shall be chosen rather than life, by all the residue of them that remain of this evil family, which remain in all the places whither I have driven them, saith the Lord of hosts. So death more than likely is going to be selected by our people more than life. Most of our people, they have it in their mind that they can make all these plans, they can plan ahead, and it's going to work exactly like they thought. And in some cases, they might have certain ideas and it happens how they kind of saw it, because it just happened to be the Lord's will to allow that to happen. But you still can't play games with your time here and assume that you're going to be here tomorrow. You can't even assume, or we can't even assume, we're going to even have breath by the end of this night, by the time the sun goes down. The Lord already has it in his mind what he's going to do. He already has it in his mind when he's going to take someone out of the earth, okay? Bring somebody in the earth. The Lord does all these things on his time, okay? So it's not very wise to have life and death set before you. You have opportunity to do what's right and you just don't do it. That's just not very smart. It's just not smart at all. Deuteronomy chapter 30 and verse 15. See, I have set before thee this day life and good, and death and evil. So people say they have free will. Well, that's what you want to believe, which really you don't have free will. Nevertheless, a choice is set before you. And that I command thee this day to love the Lord thy power, to walk in his ways, and to keep his commandments and his statutes and his judgments, that thou mayest live and multiply. And the Lord thy power shall bless thee in the land whither thou goest to possess it. But if thine heart turn away, because you choose to do evil, you choose the path of death, right? So that thou wilt not hear, but shall be drawn away and worship other gods and serve them, I denounce unto you this day, that ye shall surely perish, and that ye shall not prolong your days upon the land whether thou passest over Jordan to go possess it. And the Lord is the same way today. Life and death is being set before our people. And you have a choice to make. Every day you have a choice to make. Every day is a decision for all of us. All right? All of these rebellious Israelites who don't want to get it together, they're going to perish. And they're going to perish in their security. It's going to be when they least expect it. They might be comfortable eating a big ass turkey leg, and the Lord have a stray bullet get launched into their neck. Okay? Or have their ceiling collapse right upon them, and right where the ceiling collapsed, the bedroom floor that collapsed from above them, the bed happened to be right above them and just crushes them as it falls through the ceiling. Right when you're chilling watching sports or kicking back watching Netflix, but you've been putting off this truth. You've been really taking the Lord lightly. Okay? You really have to understand that while we're here, seeing that, let me just get it, seeing that earth is the place of judgment, we have to walk to the best of our ability without offending the Lord, man, because we are held accountable. Ecclesiastes chapter 3 and verse 16. And moreover, I saw under the sun the place of judgment, which is earth. So here on earth, this is the place of judgment. So what we do, we're held accountable. That wickedness was there, and the place of righteousness, that iniquity was there. So you have wickedness and you have righteousness here. All right? Showing you the place of judgment isn't speaking of burning in eternal fire under earth for an infinity amount of time and you never get out. The place of judgment happens here on earth while in these bodies. Okay? Now, let's go to the book of Colossians. Colossians chapter 3 and verse 22. Servant, obey in all things your masters according to the flesh. This isn't speaking of slave masters, man. You know, this is speaking of the men in this truth who are likened unto spiritual parents, because being in this ministry, you're likened unto a spiritual parent as you teach others and you teach yourself. All right. Matter of fact, let me hold that. I believe that's Ephesians chapter 6 and verse 1. Children, obey your parents in the Lord, for this is right. So our parents in the Lord are those over us in the spirit. All right. Colossians 3 and 22. Servants, obey in all things your masters according to the flesh, not with eye service as man pleasers, but in singleness of heart, fearing the power. And whatsoever ye do, do it heartily as to the Lord and not unto men. So with the things that we do, we have to understand we represent Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. We're not representing ourselves. So when you do good to a brother in this ministry, you got to see it as if you're doing good to the Lord himself, because just as you are of the Lord, so is he. Knowing that of the Lord ye shall receive the reward of the inheritance, for ye serve the Lord Mashiach. But he that doeth wrong shall receive for the wrong which he hath done, and there is no respect There is no respect of persons. So if you do wrong, you'll receive the wrong that you have done. And where is this going to happen? Here on earth, because earth is the place of judgment. So seeing how life and death is being set before our people, decisions have to be made that really keep us from being punished by the Lord. Okay? That's why we have to do our best to walk according to righteousness and not go stray, because life and death is a consistent battle. It's a consistent choice that's being made every day. We may have done good yesterday, but what about the next day when you wake up? If you're given that time, what are you going to do? You might not have committed adultery yesterday, but today's a whole new day. Okay? You might have done a video yesterday, but today's a whole new day. And then let's say you miss a day. Okay, that's in the past. Now what you going to do the day after? You're going to do the same thing? It's another day given. It's another day to make a choice. We're constantly surrounded by choices. Life and death is set before all of us. Okay? And we're going to be held accountable. And if we know to do good and we don't do it, that's not going to be good for us. All right? So we can't be in the spirit of putting the Lord off from day to day. We don't have time for that. All right? This is Matthew 12:36. But I say unto you that every idle word that men shall speak, they shall give account thereof in the day of judgment. So earth is the place of judgment, but you also have something known as the day of judgment. And we're coming into that great day of judgment where people are going to be rewarded for the good that they do and also for the bad that they do. And we're trying to tell our people which way to go. We tell our people how to walk. We're telling our people, stop putting the Lord off from day to day. We don't have this kind of time. You don't know what tomorrow holds for you. You don't even know if you're going to survive the day. Just because you woke up all this time and here you are at this present moment, all you've known is being alive, does not mean that you've been promised tomorrow in the heavens. It doesn't mean that was written out for you. Okay? Our will means nothing. It's all about the Lord's will. All right? And the Lord is cutting people off when they don't expect it because they're playing games. Next thing you know, they're not here no more. Their legacy is written for them. Their book is sealed. Their reputation that follows them, that's what it is. It's not going to follow them into the next life. We have to make sure that we set forth a good legacy. You know, we have a good name. What scripture is that? What is that? Ecclesiastes chapter 7 and verse 1. A good name is better than precious ointment, and the day of death than the day of one's birth. So we have to keep a good name. Our name is our reputation. What things come to a person's mind when they hear your name? All right? These things do matter. Although people can slander, people can make things up because it's not about pleasing men. Although it's not about pleasing man, it doesn't mean we're supposed to be niggards. We're not supposed to carry ourselves like niggas. A good name is still important, although it doesn't matter what people think. Ultimately, our good name should be good in the eyes of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, seeing that every day is another day to either do the right thing or the wrong thing. And none of us know when our time here is going to be cut off, whether we are alive to see the return of Yahweh Shai, or whether we die in these bodies before he returns. We don't know these things. That's why it's important that we do the right thing at all times, the best that we can. And we're still going to go off, of course, but we still want to try to keep our name clean in the sight of the Lord, because many people have gone to the grave. Their book is sealed. Their reputation is sealed. They can't make no changes. It's permanent. You have a lot of women, they think because their beauty has been given to them that they can just use men and then let's say something happened to them, they end up disappearing, end up getting ravished and PTD'd, right? They end up getting deleted. The reputation that they had cannot be changed. It can't be fixed. All the men that known her for the whore that she was, all the women that's known her for the whore that she was, that's all they're going to remember for the most part. And then you'll have certain of her family members, they'll try to remember other things about her, but her legacy is done. Who wants to have that as a reputation? Who wants to have that behind your name? Okay, Raheem goes to the grave and all he's been known to do is being a robber and a thief, just being a grimy nigga, right? With 5, 6 baby mamas, and every last one of them are demons. Every last one of them were just jump offs, just one night stands or whatever, right? But his reputation that follows him, it's already marked with an iron pen. Like, people live life on this earth like they just have forever and a day to just destroy themselves, destroy their lives, destroy how they're being looked at. Okay? We have to live according to righteousness to the best of our ability, man. All right? And do the will of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, which requires us to deny ourselves. So let's close it with this. And I think my point's been made. Mark chapter 8 and 34. And when he had called the people unto him, his disciples also, he said unto them, whosoever will come after me, let him deny himself and take up his cross and follow me. So we all have to carry our cross. And this is speaking of spiritually. We all have to carry our burdens. That's the things that we go through in our particular lives. Things that we have to deal with. Things that we have to bear. Things that we have to suffer. Okay? That comes with being a disciple, being disciplined, going through that fire and going through that purged period of, being uncomfortable until eventually we get them new bodies, until we get changed. Whosoever will come after me, let him deny himself and take up his cross and follow me. So we have to deny ourselves. Once we deny ourselves, that's how we not put off from day to day, from serving the Lord. That's how we don't choose evil, but we choose good, although we're not perfect. It comes with denying ourselves. Seeing a fine ass woman, she look good, she wants you, although she has a husband. Denying yourself would be like, I can't have her. That's not the right thing to do. Plus, I wouldn't want that done to me. That's called what? Loving your neighbor like you would love yourself. That's also called what? Not offending the Lord. That goes against the laws of the Most High. That will be a sin unto me. Not only a sin, that's a sin worthy of death. So when you deny yourself, it keeps you in line. It keeps you, in between the guardrails from falling off. All right. Which makes me think of Sirach 15 and 11, how the Lord has set before us fire and water, life and death. So we have to choose our path, which ultimately it's all based off of predestination. So I'm going to go on ahead and close it there. I think this was explained long enough. So all praises unto Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai Ba'ashem Wa Rakak Wadash. Shalom.